Tons of NAIA action last night, and we're going to talk to Peyton Law, Freed-Hardeman basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Well, grab your morning coffee. We're going to talk about Wednesday's NAIA men's basketball action, and we're going to start right here with number 20, Our Lady of the Lake. They went to North American Wednesday night, and they got out barely alive. A 2-overtime instant classic. They finally took control at the end of the second overtime. They won this 99-93. Lonzo ran. He had 25 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. And Rob Gill, he had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. So Our Lady of the Lake, the Saints, they go to 10-0, and they're going to play Houston Tillotson on Saturday. They travel to Houston Tillotson on Saturday. Also in the River States, or the Red River, LSU Shreveport and LSU Alexandria will be in action on Thursday, and of course, I think the rest of the conference is in action on Saturday. Let's go over to the GPAC. Northwestern is rolling. That doesn't even describe it. Man, they're good. They beat Waldorf 101-80. The two freshmen were the leaders, the scoring and rebound leaders for the Raiders last night. Jesse Van Kalsbeek, you can see there, 23 points, 7 rebounds. Jalen Langsey, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The Northwestern Raiders, they go to 10-0, and they're going to be at Morningside next Wednesday. So they don't play Saturday. They'll be in action again next Wednesday. Dort, they played Dakota Wesleyan at Dort in the DeWitt. They beat Dort 73-59. They go to 11-0. 11-0. It's kind of unusual to see the GPAC kind of separate this early. We'll see how this works out. Connor Milliken and Bryce Kopic both with 15 points Wednesday night, and they'll face Mount Marty on Saturday. They'll travel to Mount Marty on Saturday. Also in the GPAC, Morningside beat Concordia last night, Wednesday night. Justin City, 18 points, 7 rebounds. Daniel Brocale, 18 points, 7 rebounds. So Morningside goes to 8-1, and they'll be at Midland on Saturday. So let's see how the rest of the conference shaped up. I think I went through all these. Briarcliff and Midland, they played non-cons against North Star, and Doane beat Mount Marty. Let's look at the standings and what's coming up. That's most important right now. So Northwestern obviously is kind of leading the pack with Dort right behind them by a half a game. Morningside's back 1 game. No, they're back a half a game as well, and now Mount Marty's right there as well. So the games you want to look for on Saturday, Briarcliff and Concordia, that I'm going to call that a survival game. Those two teams are really looking to stay relevant in the conference. Dort and Mount Marty, that's going to be an important game in the standings. So those will be on Saturday in the GPAC. Let's go over to the Crossroads League. Huntington last night, they went to St. Francis, and they fell to St. Francis pretty big, 89-65. St. Francis had those 2 tough losses at the show last weekend, but the Cougars came out and just shocked the Foresters. A 24-point victory there in the Platte. There's nothing to shake your head about that. Brandon Northern for St. Francis, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Luke Almodovar, he had 18 points, 5 rebounds. And Isaiah Malone, a 13-point, 10-rebound double-double. He missed a good share of the games at the show That really affected their performance there. So it looks like they're getting back on track. Huntington goes to 8-2, and the Foresters are going to host Mount Vernon on Saturday. Sticking with the Crossroads, Indiana Wesleyan went up to Mishawaka, and they fell to Bethel. This was a tight game. Bethel kind of had control. Indiana Wesleyan made a big run at them, late in the second half, and I thought for sure Indiana Wesleyan was going to overtake them at that point, but they didn't. Bethel was able to hold them back. Bethel gets a huge win. We'll talk about when we get to Bethel. But Indiana Wesleyan goes to 6-3. Talked to a friend of mine tonight. We're trying to figure out when the last time Indiana Wesleyan started the Crossroads 0-3. If there's any Crossroads historians out there, let us know in the chat or somewhere when's the last time Indiana Wesleyan started 0-3 in the Crossroads. So Indiana Wesleyan is going to host Spring Arbor on Saturday. And then, of course, that's going to be no easy task because Grace Lancers, they went up to Spring Arbor last night and they fell 76-71. Spring Arbor's the real deal. Gabe Newhoff, 30 points, 4 rebounds, and David Kunda, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. So the Grace Lancers, they go to 7-3. And we mentioned Bethel already. In that game against Indiana Wesleyan, Jameer Jefferson, he had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and Trent Edwards, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Jameer Jefferson, last season, he was pretty much just a big-time defensive guy. He came in, he was a stopper. He's really added a dimension to his game this season. 21 points. He's been their leading scorer a couple of times. I talked to coaches about it, and they said that, what makes him a good defender is what makes him really good at getting to the basket. He controls his body really well, and he's really strong, and he can get to the hoop. He's really been that's been an important addition to Bethel's offense this season. So the Pilots, they go to 9-1. And they're going to host St. Francis on Saturday. So in the rest of we pretty much talked about most of them. Mount Vernon won. And I think we talked about, Taylor beat Marion. That was an overtime game. That was a big win for Taylor. Marion's in a bit of a slide right now. So the standings in the Crossroads are Bethel, Spring Arbor, and St. Francis are on top. Taylor and Grace are right behind those guys. So, every game in the Crossroads is a good game to watch, but pay particular attention to St. Francis at Bethel. Bethel's been really tough at home, and then Spring Arbor at Indiana Wesleyan. Two old time coaches going at it in that one. Spring Arbor looking to throw the knockout punch, and Greg Tonigal needs to get his team going the right direction. Hey, let's take a listen to Peyton Law. I call him Peyton the Law. He's just the toughest guy in America, I swear. He is one tough basketball player, and we'll talk to him about that. But let's just take a listen to him. He's a really nice guy, and I enjoyed talking to him. I want to thank him for his time. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I got Peyton Law on the line. He's the offensive national player of the week for the NAIA from Freed-Hardeman. Welcome to the show, Peyton. Thanks for being on.
I appreciate you having me.
So he's Peyton Law. That's what his mother named him, but I call him Peyton the Law. And if you ever saw him play, you'd know why he got that nickname. So, I want to start with that. Well, before we do that, just talk about what an honor it is to be recognized on a national basis, not only for you, but for, your program.
Yes, sir. It's a great honor to be honored like this nationally. I've had it conference a couple times this season, but being a national, just it speaks a lot to me. First time like that ever happening to me, but just the guys around me on this team, and they're the only reason I'm able to do this. They just have so much belief in me, and I have so much belief in them. Like there's going to be times where they're going to go out. We have so many guys on our team that might be able to get this award.
Yeah.
That's how deep our team is. And I'm just grateful to be a part of this team again.
Talk about, you guys lost, a couple guys transferred, and, from outside, people were going, oh, goodness, what's going to happen with the Lions? Did that motivate you guys a little bit more, you and Riley and Geraldo, to say, no, we're more than just a couple guys?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Seeing the preseason rankings, people had us, I think it was like 7 or 6, somewhere around there. And we were like, wow, like we just won the championship. And I mean, yeah, we lost
Yeah.
2 or 3 main guys, but, we brought some guys in and we had some good returners. And we were like, I feel like we're just going to go out there and be even more hungry,
Peyton, you grew up in Calhoun, Georgia. Why did you decide on Freed-Hardeman? What was it that got you there?
So whenever Coach Stubbs reached out to me the summer going into my senior year, he kept a relationship with me throughout, from summer, all the way, until like I fully committed to him and stuff. And he still, of course, kept the relationship, but like through, like I played football in high school, and like he was texting me after the games. He watched all my football games. I just knew that he like really cared about me, like not just like for me coming up to play basketball here, but like he cared like as a person as well. And, like we would have just phone calls throughout the week, and like he would just ask me about like just how life is going. That relationship that I grew with him, that really grew my interest way more than the other schools around.
Peyton, you were a very, very good football player in high school. I know that you always loved basketball first. You wore number 3 in high school, which you had to change when you went to Freed. But talk about, did football, the skills you had in football, how have they transferred to basketball? Because you're known as one of the toughest guys in the country.
Well, appreciate that.
No, trust me, you are.
I grew up, my brother, he played football all throughout his life. My dad, he coached both of us, and I just kind of grew up lifting weights and being with my brother. Being the little brother, I had to get tougher throughout the house, and just beating up on me through football and basketball. But now Calhoun, I transferred schools going into middle school, and I think that was the best decision I've made, because Calhoun, known as a football school, they grew me physically, and like they just helped me get to that next level that I had to get to. We had so many guys that were so ready to go play college sports, the way that they trained us and practiced us and everything.
Okay.
And yes, sir, I just feel like being in the weight room and playing football my whole life, I feel like that's the reason why I want to go out there. And I don't really, I guess you could say I want to kill everyone on the court.
Peyton, one thing that surprised me when I started studying you a little bit is when you were in high school, when scouts would come around, they would see you as a shooter. That's what you were known as. And it took a while for people to realize you had a lot of other aspects of the game. Do you remember one night hitting 8 threes in a game in high school?
Yes, sir.
I saw that video. I'm going to play it during this interview. What was that like? Did the basket look like, giant? And you were on the road too. You did that in front of the road crowd. What was it like?
Oh yeah, so that was our rival at the time, Cartersville, and that gym. I wish I could play every single game in that gym right there. I had multiple games in there, like a region playoff in there, and that goal, that rim just felt so wide open. But now in high school and stuff, I was smaller. My sophomore year and stuff, I didn't hit my growth spurt until going into my junior year.
Yeah,
and I've always was a shooter in high school, and then freshman year I came in as a shooter. I shot pretty well, but just last year I've kind of grown into my body a little bit more. I guess focusing a little more on the inside. So not as many threes have been going up.
So Peyton, let's talk a little bit more about the Lions. You guys are 11-1. You guys have won some really big games. Of course, the big one was Arizona Christian, but you've beat LSU Alexandria. You had that epic war against Central Baptist there in Henderson. You also, IU East and Reinhardt last weekend at the show. Just talk about this team and what makes it special.
Yeah, so I mean, we started out the year having some good wins. You know, after the game, we look back and we're like, that's just like that isn't who like what we're supposed to be. Like me, Geraldo, and Riley, like main guys that were on the team from last year. Talking to Makai and Jordan and
Mm-hmm.
Jason, like some of the new guys that weren't a part of the team. They're like, oh, that's a good win, but we were like there's another level though. Like we win games and we hold teams defensively, and like they're starting to really understand that. And I feel like we're going to be a team. We've just been getting better every game.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be playing your best basketball right here early before conference or everything like that. I feel like we're going to be just keep on getting better. We're going to peak really well around that January, February, and then that late March.
One of my favorite things about your game is you get played pretty physical. I've seen guys literally just wrap you up as you try to make a move, and you just never respond to it. You just end up you're a pretty strong guy. You just end up going where you want. You're never looking to the referee begging for help. You know, where did that come from? Just play the game like you do.
Like I said earlier, with my my dad coaching me,
Yeah.
my brother, he would always beat up on me, and my dad, he was just like, "You're smaller than him." So I mean, I've always like just like try to go through people, just go through adversity. You know, some people are gonna hold you back, but like just don't let it phase you. Just keep on trying to do the things that you're supposed to do.
Well, you guys are having a great season. It's got to be just one last question. It's got to be really great to play with a lot of guys like Geraldo's been around a long time, Phil Horton and Riley. You guys are kind of the heart and soul of this team. What's it like to have them around there with you to help lead this team?
Oh, it's awesome. Raleigh, him being here for 5 years, him seeing the beginning of Stutz building his
Mm-hmm.
culture here, kind of the way he has changed it. And then like being with Geraldo, he's such a hard like worker, and like every day in practice, I mean, it's just he's gonna bring that same attitude every day. And
Right.
he's a guy that you can count on 24/7. Like he's not going to have like off day mentally or anything. It's just going to be those guys. They're special.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Peyton, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us. Congratulations again on the national recognition. It's a big, big deal, and I'm really happy to see you get that. But thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, that's Peyton the Law, Freed-Hardeman basketball. Thank you, Peyton.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot to Peyton Law and also to Drew Stutz for helping me set that up. I really appreciate that. If you haven't watched Peyton Law play basketball, I suggest you watch Peyton the Law play basketball. It's a lot of fun. He's a fun guy to watch. Well, let's keep going. Let's go to the heart of America. Baker in action last night. They had to go to Central Methodist. Never an easy place to play, but they beat Central Methodist 72-64. Noah Rigatuso, what a great name, huh? 21.6 rebounds. Ahmed Magoob, 15 points, 3 rebounds. So Baker goes to 10-1, and they are going to play Grandview on Saturday. They're going to be at home Saturday, and they play Grandview. Let's take a look at the heart tonight. Graceland, Baker, and Peru State all won. The most consequential game of the night, Park fell to Benedictine. So don't know if you can see that. Let's take a look over at the standings. So Baker's kind of running away with this thing. Baker, Graceland, William Penn. You can see it there. So games to watch Saturday. Graceland is at William Penn. That's a very consequential game in the conference. And Park is at Peru State. Obviously, every game is important, but if you're just going to watch a couple games out of that conference, those are a couple I'd take a look at. Going over to the KCAC, Oklahoma Wesleyan. They were at home last night, and they beat Avila 83-76. Jaden Litsky, 14 points. Derek Talton Jr., he had 16 points. So the Eagles, they go to 7-2, and they're going to be at Sterling on Saturday. So this race too is starting to heat up just a little bit. So Ottawa fell last night to Southwestern. That was a pretty consequential game. Let's go over here. You can see Oklahoma Wesleyan and St. Mary are tied. You can see Ottawa now goes to 3-1. So this weekend, that Oklahoma Wesleyan Sterling game is going to be huge, and Bethany and Ottawa those are a couple to watch on Saturday in the KCAC. Get back there. The WAC last night, Cornerstone was victorious, as was Northwestern Ohio. Madonna got the win over Defiance. That was good to see. Lawrence Tech beat Lourdes. Big win for Lawrence Tech. And Indiana Tech wins again. I don't think these conference numbers are updated. I even looked on the conference page, the same one. But Cornerstone, Indiana Tech, and Lourdes. But Lourdes fell tonight. Hopefully, I don't think those are completely updated. But these are the teams that are leading the way. This weekend on Saturday, Indiana Tech and Cornerstone, always a game you want to buy your ticket for right there. That's a good one. Rochester and Madonna, both of those are very good programs, both trying to right the ship, so that's a good game. Aquinas at Lourdes, they both need a victory to keep pace. Let's take a look at the Appalachian Conference last night. Big wins for Pikeville, Milligan. Johnson fell to Bryan. Okay, that's important. Let me show you why. Pikeville, CIU, and Johnson and Bryan are all leading the pack. Of course, we know Johnson fell tonight. Reinhardt's just behind him. This weekend, keep an eye on this Bryan-Milligan game. Reinhardt's going to play Union Commonwealth, and another one is CIU and Johnson. 3 big games in the Appalachian Conference this weekend. Well, that's it for Wednesday night NAIA men's basketball. We'll be back tomorrow and tell you what happened on Thursday. Make sure you get ready. Take your kids out this weekend to watch some NAIA basketball. It won't break you because it is the best entertainment value in America. I'm heading out to Idaho, Eastern Oregon, and Idaho early Friday morning, so there will be a Friday morning show. But I think you've noticed on the weekends, I'm at basketball. Hopefully we're going to be able to present some interviews and some other updates from the I-94, I-84 Rumble going on this weekend. Southern Oregon, Oregon Tech, College of Idaho, and Eastern Oregon. But don't look for me too much on Twitter because I'm driving a long ways and I'm watching basketball. 2 of the most important things in life. Anyway, have a good day. Look for our show tomorrow morning. And thanks a lot to Peyton Law. That's it. I'm done. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.